Look at Wolf Blitzer over at the Counterfeit News Network scolding this reporter because her anonymous sources suck so bad that CNN just keeps getting everything wrong.
Are these people simply out of the loop? They don't know what they're talking about, or are they lying?
It could be a little bit of both, and it could also be that the person involved didn't know at that point. I mean, if it's hard to know. All I know is, you're only as good as your sources, and you have a source that tells you that Reince Priebus will be gone, and then you have a good source that tells you that's not the case.
I'm sorry, lady, but a magic 8-ball would be a better source than whoever the hell you're getting your information from.
Well, clearly the sources that were pushing you away are not good sources, so you got to be careful with those sources down the road. Either they don't know what they're talking about, or they're lying.
Well,
so those sources presumably will go away.
But I'm
That's
not
my
the only
experience
one.
as a reporter.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Wolf. I didn't mean to interrupt you with my laughing. Please repeat yourself.
Either they don't know what they're talking about, or they're lying.
Well,
so those sources presumably will go away.
But I'm
That's
not
my
the only one.
experience as a reporter.
Thank you, but I'm not the only one here doing the reporting on this.
If you're wondering why Wolf is so upset with this woman, here's just a sample of some of her work. This was 2 days before James Comey's testimony in front of Congress.
I've learned, my colleagues Eric Lichtblau and Jake Tapper, we've all learned that, in fact, that Comey is going to dispute the president on this point. If he is asked about it by senators, and we have to assume that he will be, he will say that he never assured Donald Trump that he was not under investigation, that would have been improper for him to do so. And then one source hinted that the president, in fact, may have misinterpreted what James Comey was telling him, particularly as it pertains to a counterintelligence investigation. So we're going to have to see how that all plays out.
Oh, yes, let's see how that played out, shall we? Here's James Comey's testimony about that very subject.
I gather from all this that you're willing to say now that while you were director, the President of the United States was not under investigation. Is that a fair statement?
That's correct.
All right. So that's a fact that we can rely on at this
Yes, sir.
point. Okay.
Hey, you know what? This is not normal. Yeah, this is crazy.
This is where we in the media have to draw the line.
Oh, this, by the way, is a parody of CNN on Saturday Night Live. I know it's impossible to tell the difference because both of them are just a bunch of idiots at a desk talking about a bunch of nonsense. Oh, and speaking of nonsense, here's a tweet from a New York Times reporter just like an hour or so before President Trump announced that Reince Priebus was resigning and would be replaced by General Kelly as the new chief of staff. Maggie Haberman tweeted out, General Kelly, who Trump praised effusively from stage in Long Island, isn't more than afloat as a possible Priebus replacement, per few people close to Trump. Wrong answer. Then 5 hours later, after she was being widely ridiculed on Twitter, she tweeted out this correction saying, this should have said is. It was just a typo, guys. Is, isn't. Whoops. Then I saw this tweet from a guy named Zeke Miller, whose name sounded familiar to me, but I couldn't quite place it, who said that the White House staff found out the same way we all did on Twitter. And then it dawned on me, this is the Time magazine reporter who on President Trump's first day in office falsely claimed that Trump removed the bust of Martin Luther King from the Oval Office. Whoops. Oh, and by the way, Infowars.com reported on Tuesday that Reince Priebus was out and that he would be replaced by General Kelly as the new chief of staff. So the Washington Compost is upset that Infowars has better sources than them, saying by the time Trump tweeted, Priebus's ouster was old news on the Trump internet.